Hi, welcome back to the Reclaiming Your Voice podcast. Letting you know now that either you will see me on YouTube, on Reclaiming Your Voice on YouTube, or you will hear me on the Reclaiming Your Voice podcast. This is a very important episode that I want to share my testimony. This is so important for single mothers, married mothers, even if you are a grandmother like myself who is caring for their grandchildren. This is for you. Even if you are a single dad and you are raising your children, this testimony is for you. I am going to give you some scriptures and to share my testimony with you. And I already know that it will strengthen and encourage you because many of us parents, we've gone through these things that I'm about to share with you. So this is going to be a real in your face episode because we need this. And I hope my testimony that I am continually walking out blesses you, challenges you to let go of systems, letting go of what the word on the street or how we should parent, whether we are believers in Christ or not. The narrative is that thick where we have to become intentional to come up out of that and do things God's way. So, if you are familiar with Abraham, Hannah, and Mary and Joseph, the parents of Jesus, because those are the scriptures that we're going to get into. But the main scriptures I want to bring to your attention is Abraham and Isaac. And that's in Genesis 22 to 16. Okay. Am I going to read it? Not sure right now. But I encourage you to look up Genesis 22. If you are on YouTube, my notes are in front of me. So if you see me look down, that's what's going on. So in Genesis 22, and I will be reading this from the NLT. Sometime later, God tested Abraham's faith. Abraham, God called. Yes, he replied, here I am. Take your son, your only son, yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Go and sacrifice him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I will show you. The next morning, Abraham got up early. He saddled his donkey and took two of his servants with him, along with his son, Isaac. He then chopped wood for a fire and a burnt offering and set out for the place God had told him about. On the third day of their journey, Abraham looked up and saw a place in the distance. Stay here with the donkey, Abraham told his servants. The boy and I will travel a little further. We will worship there, and then we will come right back. So Abraham placed the wood for the burnt offering on Isaac's shoulders, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two of them walked on together, Isaac turned to Abraham and said, Father. Yes, my son, Abraham replied. We have the fire and the wood, the boy said, but where is the sheep for the burnt offering? God will provide a sheep for the burnt offering, my son, Abraham answered, and they both walked on together. Verse 9, when they arrived at the place where God had told him to go, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then he tied his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham picked up the knife to kill his son as a sacrifice. At that moment, the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Yes, Abraham replied, Here I am. Don't lay a hand on the boy, the angel said. Do not hurt him in any way, for now I know that you truly fear God. You have not withheld from me even your son, your only son. Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by his horns in the thicket. So he took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named the place Yahweh Yahweh, which means the Lord will provide. To this day, people still use that name as a proverb. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. I'm stopping at verse 14. So here's my testimony. Years ago, my daughter was in her mid-teens, going through a lot of stuff. During that time, we moved out of the city to the suburbs. Everything was new. It was a culture shock for the both of us. And my daughter, who was in high school about that time, and two at high school, it's a very huge high school, and she dealt with a lot of stuff. Her history of things that she has gone through, trauma, it's like once she got into that new environment and she was experiencing her own stuff, being a teenager, we did a move, new environment, new students. Her trauma just came very prevalent. So throughout her teenage years, because of that, our relationship worsened. It was dark, mostly for my daughter, and very hard for me as a single mom. Doing all these transitions from separation, divorce, I'm trying to keep my trauma, my stuff together while still raising my children. And then when I was doing well, we moved to the suburbs. With everything that my daughter was going through, she struggled with her identity. And that was also a hard period because I knew where that came from. I knew from way back in history that I also struggled with my identity regarding my sexuality. I didn't activate, I did not pursue that because what I believed about myself, I guess it was just too strong in that area. Because if you've been here for a while, you heard this part of my testimony before. It did not manifest that way. But that did manifest with my daughter. We've had many conversations about it, where there were hard conversations, tears, frustrations, some misunderstandings, where my daughter and I had to have those conversations. My identity being in Christ was challenged. Not me challenging God of like, why you let this happen and why this going on. But the challenge was from the culture and how I was raised. And like I said earlier, it's just the unspoken thing regarding being a parent. Some of us may be like, I'm not going to raise my kids like how I was raised. Some of us, especially around my age, as a middle-aged woman, we're like, I turned out all right, even though I got spankings with toy racing tracks and, get switches off the tree. I still turned out okay. And all those things. We believed we had these core values that beating our kid and spanking our kid, that was the only way how to discipline. Either you do what I say or I'm going to give you punishment. Physical, which can breed to uh, physical, mental, and emotional. But we wasn't thinking about that. The culture definitely was not thinking about that. Because I guess in our minds, you should have did what I said. You should not have done that. Okay? That's where my challenge came from. No, I didn't want to raise my children like how I was raised, but some of that still happened. It still went on. And it took some time for me to be like, oh, wait a minute. This isn't cool, which I will tell you, that was not my mindset alone. My children taught me that. They taught me that. It's the term that's going on now, gentle parenting. Before that even became a trend, my children taught me I need communication from you. Not this spanking, not this popping. I don't need no corporate punishment. No, I need you to communicate to me, whether I want to hear it or not. And this isn't my children verbalizing that to me, but because I didn't get the result that I wanted from that, non-verbally from their reactions, not necessarily my daughter, but more my son, he taught me, this ain't changing nothing. You need to figure out something else. So my son actually taught me I need to talk more. I need to explain more before it got to that. And can as parents, can we be really honest? Can we be honest here? There is a high percentage when we end up going to spank, beat, whatever the words we want to use. When we get to that, we are already angry. We are disappointed. We are frustrated. And maybe we are burnt out with our own life, all the above, and we take it out on our kid. When our kid isn't performing or doing or behaving or becoming who we feel as though they should be. And some of us, that anger may stem from you look just like your daddy and you look just like your mama, or you act like your daddy and you act like your mama. And me and her and me and him, we're not cool like that. I can't stand her. She's all the things. And you want to turn around and act like them? Wop, 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 wop. Have nothing to do with the choice that they made. It's nothing to do with we got to keep repeating ourselves. Some of us, that was already in our heart and we spurred it out on our kids. I digress. For me, it was I'm frustrated. Like, you're not hearing me. I already told you. Now, this is the last resort. It wasn't my first resort, but it was the last resort. So let's see if this will bring some change. My son, in particular, taught me it ain't bringing no change. So you need to come up with something else. For my daughter, because I already learned that lesson from my son, I did not want that to be something how I discipline my daughter. Because of also the trauma that she experienced. Somewhere in the scriptures, somewhere in the New Testament, Jesus says, you can't cast out Beelzebub with Beelzebub. Right? So practically, what I'm saying is, Trauma can't cancel out trauma. Frustration can't cancel out frustration. Anger cannot cast out anger. In Proverbs, it says, a soft answer turns away wrath. We have to do something different to get the result that we want. Whether how long that takes us as parents, the majority of the work, depending on the age of your child, but I would still say that the balance is here. As the parent, we have to do most of the work. Because here's the thing. Again, for many of us, when our children are little, for some reason, somewhere, and I don't think no one told us that, but this is, and we assume that when our children come out, they just already know how to do the things. They already know how to behave. They already know not to lie. All the things that we start teaching our children at a young age, we assume that they came with all of that. And it's not true. Yes, from the man that we had sex with, we receiving that seed and came with our egg, and all that procreation happens. Yes, it's going to be mannerisms and things and belief system. It's all going to come through that interaction with that seed. Yeah, but that's going to come out in time. But with that seed, either we have to counteract against some negative bad seed on both sides by, once we realize that there is some bad seed growing, we have to, parents, first realize that. Let go of our, what I call parental pride and parental ego, and say, okay, stuff that I don't even like about me, I'm seeing in my kid. I'm seeing in my child. Now, either I'm going to still like what I'm doing or I don't like, or my child is going to be manifesting that stuff, and either I'm going to be like, whoa, what is that? Or I'm not going to think about it at the time, and I'm going to be like, what's wrong with my child? Wop, 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 wop. Not recalling, because many of us don't want to go in our history and deal with stuff. Not recalling, oh, okay, yeah, that was me as a kid. I wonder if that's why I got spanking. Not accepting it, but I'm being real with you right now. It takes some of us time to catch on to what we are putting through the bloodline regarding us being parents. We are actually doing a thing that we said we're not going to do. I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be my father. But it's happening. It's happening because that's been deep into our bloodline. That's deep in the culture, matching the bloodline. It's all matching because the majority of us do it, and we think the majority rules. It does not. But that's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother other time. But this is how things continue. Whether it's spoken or not, we think it's okay. We think this is how it is. This is what. No. So here I am being mindful, and I'm gonna tell you what did help me also was during this time I was in school. So in undergrad and also throughout graduate school, what I was learning, I was able to apply it to within my parenting. Now, if you ain't got that background, that's okay. Guess what? Guess what? I hope you have the Holy Ghost, because guess what? The Holy Ghost taught all these things. The Holy Ghost gifted someone to say all these books. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. So I realized with my daughter, okay, I need to continue what my son taught me. I need to do more talking. My daughter didn't really even need any spanking, even when my flesh wanted to like go there. It was like, I'm going to talk to her. She did great with talking. I really did not have to even do that, especially when I was intentional of not doing it. Because like I said, me putting my trauma and my core values onto her, it's not going to help anybody, and it's definitely was not going to help my daughter heal from her trauma. And me knowing that it's trauma, me helping her and dealing with her based on her trauma. Okay, being intentional with that. We have to bring that in our parenting. This is why when I know young people or even some older adults who don't have children and they be wanting kids and it's not happening, and no, you thinking that it's this grand thing. This is a lifelong journey. This is the one of the main things that's like till death do us part. You will always be a parent. Your parenting will always go through stages. As our children go through stages and those transitions, so will you. So will I continue. This is a lifelong journey once we become a parent. And we have to go with that flow. We have to go through those changes and challenges and transitions just like our kids do. But here's the thing. While they going through their transitions, while they dealing with their sadness and being bullied in school and they can't make friends and they don't like their teacher and they coming home spazzing out, but in school they not, or in school they spazzing out, and at home they not, and we're trying to figure out, do they go to therapy? And I got to get these programs because I don't know what to do and it's stressing me out. And me as a parent, I'm going through stuff at home and my job and my man, and we still have the bulk of the weight of all of that. Because our kids don't know what's going on mentally and emotionally. And part of us being parents, we have to help them do that. But if we already going through our own stuff, again, trauma don't take out trauma. Beelzebub can't cast out Beelzebub. It's someone needs to come out from among it. See what needs to be done and do the work to cancel it out, to stop it. And that's on us as parents. So back to my testimony. At the time I was in therapy, and it was so traumatic and heartbreaking to see my child go through what she is going through. And I didn't feel hopeless, but I felt helpless. Because I was going through that transition of how do I help her? How do I do my best to not allow mistakes on my part as a parent to reoccur with my daughter? How do I not allow what my son is going through mentally to continue on with my daughter? I was a different person with my son. I grew a lot. So what I have done with my daughter, I was too late for me to do that with my son at the time. I did not know what to do. I didn't want to push my daughter away because I am the only adult in this world that loves my daughter, that my daughter has as an example, especially as an example of someone who goes to church, doing all the church things. She needed an example for that same person who's in that building is the same person that's at home. Good, bad, ugly, making decisions, all of it. I am the only person that she has that is doing my best to hold up the standards of God. I am that only person. And I knew that the Lord's core values is the highest standard. And I had to figure that out for our relationship and for my daughter's life. So one day I was in prayer, talking to the Lord about all the stresses of my parenthood right now. And he led me to Genesis 22. And a part of me knew what the Lord was about to say to me. So I was really hesitant while I'm in prayer and in his presence, very hesitant to read it. I was already familiar with it. So I already knew the story before I felt like he was telling me to read it. I read it. Same verses that I gave you. And I started bawling. And now, because the Lord has my attention, that he knows that I know where he's getting at, all he said to me was, she's mine. I bawled. And I just started expressing all the stuff that my daughter been through and what's happening with her and what I am going through. And I just felt like I had to be the one to get her through it. I need to be the one to protect her. I need to be the one to support her. Like Lord, her and I has been going through this thing together. I have to be the one. And the more I was venting and letting it out, the voice of the Lord got louder and louder over my own. She is mine. I love her more than you. She is my daughter more than you. I know her more than you. Give her to me. Oh, I kept bawling and bawling. I just could not believe what I was hearing. And once the wrestle was over, I said, yes, Lord. But you have to show me how. So, because since you are telling me that you want me to put my daughter to you as a sacrifice, I ain't know what does that mean? I know he wasn't telling me to unalive my daughter. So what does this look like? Day by day, month by month, year by year, he showed me. So when my daughter was doing things that as a parent I did not approve of, and I wanted to go rashad over the situation, no. That's all I heard. So you want me to back off. You don't want me to say something. No. Something else happened. My daughter made a decision that I did not approve of. She wasn't doing her homework. She wasn't keeping up my homework. And my girl, she's an intelligent person. She's a straight A student in the Philadelphia school district, but up here the standards are higher. So she was struggling. She became like an A, B, and a C student, and she knows how intelligent she is. So that was affecting her too. The work was harder for her because let's just be real, okay? Some school districts, they got different standards. They pull our kids up to their standard, and that also can be a struggle. I had to get her tutoring, okay, for a while, for a couple of years, because I got to do something because I don't know math. Again, it's up to us parents, okay? So all that was going on. So I was like, she not getting her homework done. I know she could, like, the standard that I know that's already within her. I'm following that. Now I'm not the parent that you need to be doing straight A's, or you won't be on punishment, you won't be home. No. But when I know what you are capable of, I'm going to hold you up to that standard. I'm going to do it. So A, B, and C, that wasn't a problem for me. I'm just like, girl, I know this is hard, but you're doing well. But it wasn't enough for her. So when teachers calling me and I'm getting stuff and I'm like, oh, wait. And I'm like, girl, you not, why you got an F? arms. He's like pushing me away, and I got it. I did it. I know. Blah, blah, blah. Here come the culture rising up on me. Now, I wasn't going to hit her or spank her because of that, but was I going to snap back at her? Yeah. Who are you talking to? I'm trying to care for you. I just want to know what's going on. The Lord, like, she's mine. You right. How can I help you? You can't help me. Okay. Remember on Thursday, you see your tutor, so y'all can work that out. I'm backing off. So anytime something was going on that concerned me, anything that I knew that was concerning my daughter, I didn't keep beating her up about it, keep saying something about it. I gave her breathing room. I stepped back and I prayed and I went back in my closet. Lord, my daughter, oh, what is she doing? What is going on? Did you see that? Did you know that? Like, oh, like I did all the things with the Lord. You want me to give her to you. I'm doing that. And it's hard. It's hard. Some of the times I felt like I wasn't being a good parent. Some of the times I wrestle with, am I even being a right Christian? I'm like looking up scriptures like, how am I supposed to be doing this? I don't even feel like I'm not supposed to say nothing. I'm just supposed to watch my child go through all this pain and not do anything. This don't even feel right. This don't seem right. Give her to me. You ought to trust me. So then one day I said to him, I need you to teach me how to be a parent like you are with me. I need you to teach me how to be a godly parent and do parenting your way. So he directed me to the Gospels. Can I tell you that learning about how Jesus spoke to people that was hurting, the woman at the well, the man at the pool, the woman that was caught in adultery, like, I don't believe that he used the same tone and the stance and the in your face with those people who were hurting and going through stuff and not doing what they supposed to be doing, sinning, like how we be with our kids, going off, ready to bring out the belt. I don't believe that that's how the Lord confronted those things. So Jesus taught me how to speak to my daughter, speak based on her needs, be what she needed me to be, even though she could not communicate that. So from the very beginning of my testimony, when I was like, I needed to protect her, I needed to. Okay, yeah, as a role of a parent, however, that's not the whole piece. The other part of the piece is to not parent without the Lord, the Father, who knows you and knows our children more than anyone else. I don't care if you marry. I don't care who your mama, your daddy, your family. I don't care. Our creator of the universe and the creator of you and I knows us best more than anybody. We can hide and run and do all the things. He already knows our hearts. He knows our intention. He knows the truth because he is truth. So yes, I had to do that for my daughter. And this lasted from 14, 15. Not to say I didn't see the shift in my daughter before that, but like I said, it manifested her mid-teen years, and I started noticing a slight difference 18 and 19. It was hard. My daughter finding relationships online. Who are these people in other states where she's never been? My daughter talking about she's going to get on the bus. She already got her ticket, and she's telling me she's about to go to, where did she go? To the Carolinas. Excuse me? All of me as a woman, a parent, someone that got common sense. You probably asking what yeah, keep talking. What did you do? Did you take the ticket? Did you say no? Did you say she's mine? You mean to tell me you don't want me to stop her with the authority of me being a parent? Do you? This could be a child trafficking situation and you don't. She's mine. So I told my daughter, here's what I told her. I want the address. I want the person's name. I want a picture of what this person looks like. She gave me everything that I asked for. Address, location, mama name, mama phone number, this person's phone number. And what did I do? I took her to the bus station early in the morning. She did the schedule and everything. I looked at it. I confirmed it. I drove her early in the morning to get on that bus and waited for her until that bus came. Helped her with her luggage on that bus, and I stayed until I could not see that bus anymore. I drove home bawling my eyes out. Lord, are you serious? You serious? What if something happens to her? What if she get lost? What if, oh, and I also told her, every stop you get to, you better text me. So I'm on my phone like this, like, you didn't text me. You didn't text me. A whole weekend, 3 days. She texts me, let me know when the bus will be there. I picked her up. Believe my daughter did this 3 times. The very last time, she was basically like, I want to come home. Ooh, here's the interesting thing. That last time, I actually fasted. Don't remember what I said, but God got record of it. That child called me and was like, or text me and said, I ain't ready to come home. That girl came home. I picked her up. That drive was even more quiet than the other drives when I picked her up. It was like you can hear a feather drop, how quiet it was. I just knew something happened. I'm kind of looking at her like, huh. She came home. I ain't asked no questions. What happened? How was it? What happened? She went straight in her room. I ain't say nothing. See, now I'm in the place of I didn't need God to say she's mine. I am now in position, being intentional with the sacrifice that I was given to the Lord. And that sacrifice, which I thought, because in Abraham's situation, Isaac was the sacrifice. I was in that moment learning, Mama, you're the sacrifice. I needed you to be that sacrifice. And I'll get to that a little more So years went by, a lot of conversations, a lot of boundaries. I had to put in place a lot of boundaries. Okay, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to dress. Here's my boundaries. This what you will not do in my presence. This will you not do. I ain't buying nothing. You want to look a certain way? I ain't buying it. So the job that you got, I'm not doing it. These are my boundaries. This is what I'm not going to do. This is what I'm not going to agree with. Whatever that makes you feel a certain type of way, this is what I'm not going to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not going along with it because I know the truth. I know why we are here. So I'm not going to believe what you're saying, young girl to young woman. I'm not going to. I'm not going to change my stance because I know what I'm seeing. I know where this all came from, and I'm not going to agree with it. I'm not going to do it. So this is what you will do, and this is what you will not do. She respected what I said because the tone I'm using now was not the tone. It was a little bit more low, but I was stern, and she knew I wasn't playing. So she followed my boundaries, which was a blessing because the way it was going, she could have chose not to. And that would have been a whole nother thing, whole nother testimony. But she did. We had conversations. We had so many conversations over the years of this. I began to notice a shift in her with all the praying, all the fasting, all the me having to tell the Lord, she's yours, she's yours, she's yours. I started seeing a shift. And my prayers also shifted. Because if you have not realized it now, depending on how old your children are, the world, once they are in school, it becomes their main world because they are in school more than they are at home. The influence has shifted to their friends, the peers, how all this, what they do, what their lives are like. It shifted. And again, as parents, we are transitioning and shifting along with our kids. So I began to notice a shift by like 18, 19. Things were getting a bit better where I started seeing that my daughter was starting to do work on herself. She did not want to go to therapy, mind you. She didn't want to go to therapy. Okay, she didn't want no one to want to pull up all her roots and, the trauma. She didn't want all of that. So that was also hard for me because I know I can't be 100% parent and 100% therapist. I know I could not be that. Even though where I was dealing with her, it was therapeutic. Some things I'm not going to let go of what I've learned because of what I'm dealing with. No, but I knew 100% I'm not her therapist. She's going to listen to half of what I'm saying or don't want to do what I'm saying. So I had to utilize that in a whole different strategic way. And that was all the Lord. I'm not giving myself credit for it at all. The Lord taught me how to parent her, how He wants me to parent her. So as things began to get better, it did get better. And it was all the Lord. Our relationship improved. We started talking more, hanging out more. Her compassion and empathy that been in her since she was a little girl was exploding. And I started seeing the benefit of obedience, the hardship of obedience. the challenge of obedience and the length of time that the Lord may expect you to follow through with. I know there were times that I messed up. I missed the mark. That I felt like the Lord wanted me to talk to her about something or show her something and I didn't. Okay. I was not completely 100% obedient. But this theme of Abraham, which I call it my Abraham testimony, that set me straight as far as him saying, she's mine, she's mine, she's mine. And that cultivated my heart to be in position for that. It was hard. It was not easy. So now my daughter is now 21. And between 19 and 20, oh, the fruit of every prayer, every cry, every time that I had a tantrum, I expressed to my therapist just me wanting to pull my hair out and the lament, the pain I went through and I experienced. I began to tangibly see the fruit of that. Seeds were being planted, but it took time for the roots to appear, for those roots to be strong. It took time for the branches and the leaves of it to grow. It took time. But my obedience and my heart posture towards it, that's what watered it. That's the light that came on it. So yesterday, 2 days ago, my daughter wrote me this 2-page letter. Don't worry, I won't read it. Um, she wrote me this letter that solidified everything and more that I just shared with you. My daughter basically in the letter let me know how much she appreciated me from all the times where she was going through, that all the times she pushed me away and saying she was okay and I know she wasn't, and how I didn't, become a helicopter mom and was just over her and suffocating her and, what is wrong? What is wrong? And that I wasn't hovering over her and I wasn't trying to force her to talk to me, that I basically let her push me away. How patient I was through it all. And what she learned through it all about herself, what she is able to do, and what she is walking in now. And I see the evidence of that. And when all those hard conversations that we've had, the things I said to her, she realized that I meant what I said till this day. My daughter has become this amazing young woman. And I owe all of it to God. This letter that she wrote me, which isn't the first meaningful letter that she wrote me, but this one, it's so much in it that I need to unpack it for myself. But to be able to see what can come out of obedience, It's mind blowing to me. This letter is the fruit of all of those years. This letter is faith being real. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's so much. It's so much proof that obedience is better than sacrifice. It is proof of how stable, long suffering, everything that is ever written about who God is and everything that God said he is, this 2-page letter is truth of that. So the altar in my heart that I have towards the Lord, for the Lord, I gave this letter to him. I laid it there. He gets all of the glory. And this fruit is all his. So, mom and dad, give your child, give them to the Lord. Grandma, whoever you are that has the responsibility of raising a human being, give them over to the Lord. Now, I want to let you know that practically I already shared what that looks like. But I want to share a little more. And I'm not saying that I am against taking our child to church and doing a christening when they are little. Not saying that I'm against that right now, but I will say it's not biblical. However, I mentioned Hannah and I mentioned Mary and Joseph. Hannah was a married woman who was barren. She could not have children. One of, I don't know which wife she was to her husband, but there was another wife who was having all the babies. But Hannah could not. And this is in, the story of it is in 1 Samuel 1. Please read that. I won't read that out. But I'm referring to 1 Samuel 1, 9 through 28. Hannah was barren. She could not have any children. And she cried out to the Lord numerous times. And this one time, this one moment, Hannah said to the Lord, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you. What we usually say is dedicate, but I will give him to you. And he will be yours to do your work. So she went to the temple and prayed. She prayed ugly face prayers. She cried, ugly face cried so much that the priest saw her and was like, "Man, are you drunk? You cannot be drunk being in the temple. Why are you even here?" And she was like, "Sir, I am not. I am crying out to the Lord. I want a son." So she was talking to the priest, and the priest just gave her a blessing. Verbal blessing was like, what you want from the Lord, let it be unto you. She left, strengthened, and she went home, did her thing. One of the times that she had sex with her husband, she became pregnant. The rituals back then were that they would go and take the family and give offerings to the Lord and go to the temple. And this one time she was like, "I'm not going." She told her husband, "I'm not going because I promised the Lord that I'm going to give him our son." She gave birth to a son. Um, and I'm going to stay here and complete weaning our son, and then I will go to the temple. Her husband was like, "Cool, all right, see you later." She stayed home and weaned her son, Samuel. And she went to back to the temple. She went to the temple, saw the same priest, and she was like, "Sir, do you remember me? The Lord gave me a son." And so they did a sacrifice. She sacrificed a 3-year-old bull, a basket of flour, and wine. I thought it was interesting that it was a 3-year bull. And I looked it up a little bit more. And in the biblical days, I found that usually their time frame of the mom to wean the child is about between 2 and 3. So I have to imagine that the 3-year bull that was sacrificed matched the same age as her son. Hannah, I want to also believe that not only that she sacrificed the way of the law, which she should have done, was supposed to do, but Hannah also sacrificed herself, her desire to watch her child grow, her desire to see all the first steps, all the firsts that we live to see our children do. She had to sacrifice that because her son was going to be raised by the priest. That was huge. That's huge for any of us parents. We want to see all the things. And many times we're not going to see all the things when it happened. But when we do, it's like that is one of the things that we live for as a parent. Now let's go to Mary and Joseph. When Mary gave birth to Jesus, it was the same thing they needed to do. They went to the temple. They gave Jesus to the Lord, and our words dedicate. They also had to do a sacrifice, and the sacrifice that they made was 2 turtle doves and 2 young pigeons. Here's what I'm getting at with this. I also realized that not only did I have to offer up my daughter as a sacrifice to the Lord for him to raise her, I also became the sacrifice. I had to sacrifice many things. I had to sacrifice the culture on that altar. I had to sacrifice what I thought parenting was on that altar. I had to sacrifice the pain of being a repeat single parent on that altar. I had to sacrifice how I was raised on that altar. What I thought was common sense, and like when I let her travel to another state, I'd never been to that state either where the girl went. I had to sacrifice my way of thinking, my thoughts, my pain. I had to sacrifice all of that on that altar for the life of my daughter and for the Lord to be her parent more than I will ever be. So here's my question for you. What is your sacrifice that you are willing to give up for your child? Once you, if you are willing to dedicate and give your children, your child, your grandchildren to the Lord, what are you also going to sacrifice? Do you relate with me? Sacrificing the culture, how I was raised, what I think is right, me not having self-control. Are you in the sacrifice days where you are just frustrated and you last out on your child? What are you willing to sacrifice to see the will of the Lord done for your children? What are you willing to sacrifice on the altar? What are you willing to go through, not relate with, not experience, not see, for the well-being of your children? Are you willing to sacrifice lack of trust, lack of belief that the Lord is he really saying this? Is he really wanting me to do this? This looks like it's against everything that I have experienced or what I know or what I read in the book and what someone taught me and what this person. Are you willing to put the word of God first? Are you willing to allow the word of God to be the core value that you have as a parent, as a grandparent, as a mother and a father? Are you willing to sacrifice your own trauma voice, your own trauma narrative to do this God's way? That's going to take prayer. That's going to take fasting. That's going to take you sacrificing, you going out or watching TV and doing all the things to spend time in the secret place with the Lord to get instruction of how to do. Are you willing to be more obedient than you have ever been in your life to see this promise come through? When your children become wayward, when your children become prodigals, are you willing to sacrifice all that you know to see this promise happen, to see the other side, to see the fruit of it all, to see the fruit of the tears that he put in a bottle for you? Are you willing to sacrifice your life for your children? Not with fists, not with pride, but being connected in the spirit, in obedience, and changing your heart posture for what the Lord wants. And can I also say this? For those of you that had children out of wedlock, I'm one of them. Are you willing to sacrifice and be humble to admit, I did it wrong? I don't care if some of you might say, well, my children saved me and my children changed me. Okay, thank God for his kindness and his mercy. But the bottom line is, children are to be in a marriage with a man and a woman. That is God's design. That is God's will. Even if you did it that way, I raise my hand again. It's my daughter was born in a marriage. Still so much work needed to be done. Because the mindset was still there. And the pride was still there. The ignorance was still there. The trauma was still there. Me trying to figure out my own stuff was still there. That was in the way of how the Lord wanted to parent your child. Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to lay it all down? No matter how many years it takes. Are you willing to lay it down? Are you willing to give your children to God? That is my testimony. And I pray that this encouraged you, challenged you, and will cause you to go to the Lord. It will cause you to want to do this a different way. It will cause you to realize everything that I've been doing has not working. This, based on my testimony, here's an option for you. Here's an option for you. Choose God. Choose His word to do it for you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face towards you and give you peace. Be well and peace out.